You've probably heard that Europe has much stricter food regulations than the United States. But did you know there are foods that are completely banned in several European countries, while still being sold freely on American supermarket shelves? This difference goes far beyond a simple regulatory issue. It reveals how food policies directly impact your health and what you need to know to protect yourself, even if you live in the US. In this video, you're going to discover which foods are banned in Europe due to dangerous ingredients, why they're still allowed in the US, and how continuous consumption of these products could affect your body in the long run. Get ready, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you choose your food. Already leave your like, sign up in the channel to not miss our tips, and activate the bell to receive notifications. Let's start with the infamous yellow dye number 5, also known as tartrazine. This additive is used to give that bright, vibrant color to candies, sodas, cereals, and even some packaged sauces. But in the European Union, this dye is highly regulated, and in some countries like Norway and Austria, it's outright banned. That's because studies have shown it can cause hyperactivity in children and, in some cases, severe allergic reactions. Now, imagine the impact when children consume these products almost daily in the US, with no clear warning on the labels. It's a silent, but extremely common issue. And the most alarming part, the American food industry continues to use this dye, even knowing the risks, because it's still considered safe in small amounts in the US. But what happens when those small amounts are consumed every single day? Another controversial ingredient is potassium bromate, found in many breads, frozen pizzas, and industrial baked goods. It's used to improve dough texture and speed up the baking process. The problem? Potassium bromate is classified as a possible carcinogen by the World Health Organization. That's why it's been banned across almost the entire European Union, as well as in countries like Canada and Brazil. But in the United States, it's still legal and widely used, especially in popular brands of packaged sandwich bread. Here's the critical issue. Many people consume these foods daily without knowing they're ingesting a substance that may be linked to gastrointestinal tumors. Eating this type of food occasionally is already concerning, but constant exposure makes the danger even greater. Now, let's talk about the well-known partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, or as you might know them, artificial trans fats. These oils are found in margarine, sandwich cookies, fast food, and even microwave popcorn. In Europe, many countries have completely banned the use of trans fats due to their link with increased bad cholesterol, heart disease, and even strokes. Denmark was the pioneer in banning them, and the results were striking. A significant drop in deaths from heart-related problems was observed after the prohibition. In the US, although there are now some restrictions, you can still find trans fats in smaller establishments or brands that haven't updated their ingredients. The problem isn't just the presence of these fats, it's the lack of transparency. Many consumers still don't know how to identify this type of fat on labels and end up consuming it unknowingly. Let's move on to ractopamine, a complicated name, but one that should grab your attention. This additive is used in raising pigs, cattle, and even turkeys in the US to accelerate weight gain before slaughter. The issue is that residues of this substance remain in the meat and go directly to your plate. In Europe, the use of ractopamine is completely banned. Why? Because the compound is associated with cardiovascular problems, muscle tremors, and in some cases, it can affect the central nervous system. Despite these risks, it continues to be widely used in the US, especially by large meat producers. That means that by consuming conventional meat in the US, you may be ingesting traces of this substance without even knowing it. And the worst part? Labels don't always disclose this detail. The only safe way to avoid ractopamine is by choosing organic or certified additive-free meat, which, unfortunately, isn't always accessible to everyone. And what about BHA and BHT? These two synthetic antioxidants are used to extend the shelf life of foods. You'll find them in breakfast cereals, chips, chewing gum, and even pet food. While the FDA still considers them safe, several studies suggest these substances may be linked to tumor growth and hormonal disruptions. The European Union, as a precaution, has strongly restricted their use, especially in children's foods. But here in the US, they're still widely used. This highlights a clear contrast in approach. While Europe adopts the precautionary principle, choosing to ban suspicious substances until proven safe, the US takes the opposite path, allowing their use until harm is definitively proven. The problem? When it comes to your health, waiting to see might come at a high cost. The long-term impact of consistently consuming these ingredients banned in Europe goes far beyond immediate effects. We're talking about substances that affect the hormonal system, increase the risk of heart disease, impair neurological development, and may even be linked to cancer. Over time, regularly eating these products can contribute to rising obesity, anxiety, and many other chronic conditions that have become epidemics in the United States. And the most worrying part? A large portion of the population is completely unaware of these risks because the labels are unclear or confusing. That's why the key is information. Understanding what you're eating is the first step to protecting your health, and often, making better decisions can mean simply switching brands or choosing a more natural version of the same food. So now the question is, how can you protect yourself? The first tip is simple but powerful. Read the labels. Ingredients like BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, and artificial dyes usually appear with their chemical names. Try to avoid foods with long ingredient lists or names you can't recognize. Second tip, choose organic products whenever possible, especially when it comes to meat and dairy. They may cost a bit more, but they're far safer and free of most of these dangerous additives. Third tip, cook more at home. When you prepare your own food, you have full control over what goes into your body. And finally, spread the word. Sharing this type of information helps create a movement of more conscious consumers, and the more people demand clean food, the more the industry is forced to change. The truth is, even living in a country where certain harmful ingredients are still allowed, you don't have to be at the mercy of the food industry. Information is your greatest weapon. Every choice you make at the grocery store has the power to influence your health for better or worse. And now that you know what's behind many of these products that are common in the US, but banned in Europe, you can start making smarter decisions. It's not about living in fear, it's about living with awareness. And if you want to keep getting content like this that exposes the hidden truths of modern food and helps you live healthier, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because in the coming weeks, we'll keep uncovering what's really on your plate and how it affects every cell in your body. See you in the next video.